Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here. So you might typically know me as somebody that talks about the National Basketball Association. But for today's video, I'm going to be talking about the Detroit Lions, LA Rams, the Matthew Stafford situation, and really just one quick second, man, giving a round of applause to my Detroit Lions, man, for winning their first playoff game in 31 years. That's my age. I didn't exist, man, when it last happened, okay? I did not exist, okay? So, man, there's so many things to talk about. I'm just going to kind of ramble on, so if you enjoy that type of thing, here you guys go. Firstly, my experience with the Detroit Lions. Like, I don't really talk about them a lot. How far back does my fandom go? I started watching back in the Joey Harrington days. Yeah. I've endured that, man. I deserve this playoff win, okay? I deserve it. Joey Harrington, John Kitna, Dante Culpepper for a hot second, Roy Williams, Mike Williams. I actually went to school with a girl that was cousins with Charles Rogers. God rest his soul. Although, art class, I used to go up there and be like, hey, how'd Charles play this weekend? You know? God rest his soul, though, man. It was a big what if, in NFL history. Dominican Sue, Big Sean Rogers. Man, I've been watching over the years, okay? And, of course, Matthew Stafford, Calvin Johnson, and Dominican Sue, all of them. So, my mindset going into this game against the Rams was Stafford gets this. You're not Kobe. You're more so maybe like Damian Lillard, okay? You're not Kobe Bryant. You don't get some farewell tour. You don't get this big, warm Detroit hug in the midst of the NFL playoffs. And for anybody that thinks that you should, you're an idiot. Plain and simple, man. I'm sorry. This is football. This is not the time and place to be holding hands, giving hugs, and saying kumbaya. I do not get it, man. And not to mention, Stafford is only one player on the roster. So when he came marching out of the tunnels with the rest of the team to booze, what do you expect? What did you want to happen? Did you want Detroit to be like, oh, yes, Rams, come on, man. Welcome to Ford Field. We love you. Have a Little Caesars, bro. No. And if you are a fan of a different NFL team, I would not expect you to do anything different in that circumstance. If you're a Green Bay fan, I wouldn't expect you to give a big warm welcome in the playoffs to Aaron Rodgers. I just wouldn't. That would be weird. That would be against competitiveness of sports. And I don't know if Stafford just went, to Hollywood or something. But he is the biggest surprise that he would expect anything different. And the reason I say this is because after the game, Stafford said this. He said he was happy for the players. Not the fans, the players. And I don't know if that's strictly just saltiness because we booed and we didn't cheer for you in a playoff game. Because context is everything, man. Me booing Stafford during the playoffs does not mean that I don't respect what he did for the franchise. If this was a regular season game and we're out of the playoff run, or I don't know, man, just a few other circumstances, yeah, if Stafford comes to Ford Field, marches on, yeah, Stafford, yeah, we recognize what you did here. But not during the playoffs. That's really stupid. That doesn't make sense to me whatsoever, man. That just seems like people just want to, They want to shame the Lions and their fans for not inflicting a weakness upon ourselves. I do not get it, man. Okay, so beyond that, let's talk about a few other things. Okay, a lot of people are complaining about Kirby's hit on Higbee, saying that he's a dirty player, he aims for the ACL, he did the same thing to Hawkinson. I will say that when it comes to dirty hits in the NFL, I do think that dirty hits, you do see them a lot more often now, But I think it's this. I think the reason is because the way we look at a dirty hit is a lot different than maybe how a dirty hit was looked upon 30 years ago. It's the same case with the National Basketball Association. I'm going to make that comparison every single time. Where, back in the 80s, a hard foul would be a flagrant 2 in today's NBA. Once again, just fact of the matter. And that's not to say that the hits, wasn't a bit dirty. I don't know if dirty is the word I like to use, though, because I try to put myself into the same circumstance. And I'm like, okay, taller player. When there's a taller player on offense, you are taught to wrap up the legs. Like that's like the bigger they are, the harder they fall. But when the NFL limits the zone in which you can tackle somebody without being called for a penalty, there's going to be circumstances where things appear to be a lot more dirty. If you tackle too hard, it's a 15-yard penalty. If you tackle too low, it's a 15-yard penalty. There's a little bit of a safe zone. Now try to strike that safe zone every single time as a smaller player when you're launching yourself at somebody, game after game. I don't think it was intentional. That doesn't mean that it still wasn't a dirty hit. Yeah, based off the NFL rules. Now, is that the Lions players' fault? Or is it the NFL rules? The people that make the rules, is that their fault? I don't know, man. And another thing that I really want to talk about is the penalties. Because this one always makes me laugh. All right? The entire NFL world knows that the Lions got screwed in the Cowboys game. Karma kind of showed its hand towards the Cowboys with that one. So it kind of is what it is. But as far as the referees giving this game to the Lions, this is how I view it. Okay? That call on, or that non-call on Puka, that was a pass interference. 100% agree. I think we can also agree, too, that in the first half, there was some times where LA jumped off sides, false start, and it was called against the Lions. So when that initially happened in the first half, my mindset was, here we go again. Can we please do something to get the refs to stop screwing over the Lions? And the Rams had a few bad calls, too. And then I felt okay because it evened out. Can't have your cake and eat it too, man. Okay, you can't be mad about a bad call on your team and then not be mad about when it's the other way around. And that's how I viewed it. I was mad up until things got a little bit more even with bad calls for both sides. Now, the only solution to this is artificial intelligence. Do you want some damn sensors and lasers on the field making sure that every single call is programmed and typed in exactly every single time to throw a flag? Because that's what could happen. But if you have referees and humans, there's going to be mistakes. There's going to be mistakes. But when there's mistakes for both sides, then it kind of evens out, man. Now, there's a lot more into that, too, as far as, field position and, a lot of factors that play in play, which one was more serious or which one influenced the game more. And I do not agree with referees influencing the game. I was very nervous about Stafford's deep ball. He burnt us with it a few times. So, yeah, I do feel Rams on that one, man. But to say the Lions don't deserve this, I'm sorry. But in that first half, it was your Rams offense that was putting up 3 instead of 6. And that was ultimately the big game changer. Okay? So, don't be a sore loser. I know that can kind of be hard. Sometimes, for LA teams because, you have like LA's Hollywood. It's not just contained to California. You have LA fans everywhere because it's kind of one of those hypebeast franchises. Now, if you are a dedicated Rams fan, I'm not talking to you. I'm just talking about the hypebeast, man. You guys know. I mean, I'm sure I know there was a lot of Laker fans that once LeBron came to the team, they're like, great. It's like the LeBron fans, they're going to really delude this Lakers fan base. So, that's kind of where I'm going out at with that, man. But, as far as Stafford goes, I can recognize that you did not have a great, complete team built around you in your time here in Detroit. people like to go back and say that the Lions failed Matthew Stafford. I don't completely disagree with that statement. I think, yes, the Lions, for a long time, were a very bad football team. My apologies, man. But also at the same time, Matthew Stafford, in his later years with Detroit, he demanded a lot of money. And when you have a lot of money, that's less money to make the rest of the team good. What makes this Lions team so great right now? Well, we traded Stafford away. We have Jared Goff, who had Super Bowl winning experience. He plays very calm, which is nice. Also, he hasn't been paid a ridiculous amount of money yet. But who else did we get? We got some draft picks. Who did those draft picks become? Sam Laporta, rookie contract, number 1 tight end this season. Jahmyr Gibbs. Took him a while, to get going, but once he did, he was the perfect complement to David Montgomery. And I also think, I don't know, was Campbell, was he part of that draft pick haul, or was that just the Lions pick? I do not remember, man. But in the end of the day, Stafford, you won a Super Bowl. Lions are in the playoffs. It's a win-win for both sides. That Stafford saga, it closed a few seasons ago. And it needed to remain close for the playoffs. That's it. It's not personal. It's just football, man. It's just football, okay? I'm happy for my Lions. We deserve this. Also, I got this shirt because for a long time, like 10 years ago, people thought I looked like Matthew Stafford. I don't know. I don't really see it, especially now. I'm a little up there in age. I don't see it. I don't see it, man. Anyway, that's all I got to say. I'm trying to think. Any other closing thoughts? I don't think so. I still recognize Stafford's time here in Detroit, but hey, it's a new season. We got Eminem as a hype man. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun seeing a second playoff game here, man, in Detroit. So that's all we got. Thank you all so much for watching. Peace out, my friends.